Take two. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the bride and groom, I'd like to welcome you to the marriage celebrations. We're going to have a slight break from tradition. We're going to have the speeches before the meal so the speakers can relax. Okay, caterers, you're on. But before we call on the first speaker, I'd just like to say what a wonderful wedding it's been so far. Touching, tasteful, and lots of lovely traditions in there. And I can't help but compare it to my sister's wedding. My sister's wedding was nothing like this. This is a classy affair. My sister's wedding was rough, I'll tell you. Is there anybody here for Bonar Bridge? No. You know what I mean? No, I'll tell you, it was a rough affair. But still, many of the traditions are the same, and they cut right through the strata. So I'd like to talk a little bit about some wedding traditions. Take the hand fasten today. I think that was a lovely ceremony. I think the words were beautiful, and it's a nice Scottish ceremony. They did that at my sister's wedding as well, but it wasn't easy for the groom. You know, he had one hand tied to his bride, the other hand handcuffed to his prison officer. It was difficult. In fact, the groom was confused with the whole thing. I felt a bit sorry for the wedding photographer. Every time she went to take a photograph, he put his jacket over his head and said no comment. And the bit about laying your weapons on the floor, I thought that was really touching. You know, peace and trust, all that sort of thing. Fantastic. At my sister's wedding, I'll tell you, I thought it was at B&Q. There were Stanley knives, hammers, screwdrivers. The only thing they didn't have was these wee jigsaw blades, and I could never get them. Same problem. Then there's other traditions like the bride wearing white, or nearly white. Believed by some to be a symbol of either celebration or chastity. The whitest thing at my sister's wedding was the bridesmaids' trainers.
What, your sister's not here?
Then there's the length of the wedding dress or the wedding train. And that goes back to the 1800s when they thought that the longer the wedding train, the higher your standing in society. And I think my sister pitched it just about right when she wore her miniskirt. Other traditions, throwing rice at the bride and groom, a symbol of fertility, in the hope that the couple will be blessed with many children.
No rice.
Well, that's when the fight started at my sister's wedding. The bride was hit square in the forehead with a tin of ambrosia. The groom, he was hit with a tin of rice as well, and I'll tell you, it did nothing for their fertility. It's a good job they've got 7 kids already. Then there's throwing the bouquet. That's a strange custom, you might think, but apparently, years and years ago, you might remember this, John. Years and years ago, the wedding guests would clutch at the bride's clothes and flowers, trying to get some of the bride's luck for themselves. So the bride would throw the bouquet of flowers and get away with her clothes intact. Now, my sister, well, she's never had a bunch of flowers before, you know. And she was desperate to keep them. She'd even bought a vase out of pound stretchers to put them in. So she thought it was a good idea to throw her clothes at the baying mob and make off with the flowers. And that's about the time the trouble with the caterers started. Only half the guests had been fed. Some of them had started complaining. We tried to smooth it over and sort it out, but you know, when the fish and chip van drives off and leaves you standing there, there's only so much you can do. But back to this wedding, I'd just like to say how good everybody looks and how everybody's made an effort. And I'm sure there were a few domestic dramas played out this morning as people scurried to get ready. Certainly my house was no different. My good lady was locked in the bathroom making herself beautiful. I don't know where the wife was. I was banging on the door, desperately trying to get in because I was needing my hair products. I go, can I get in? No, wait your turn. I'm saying, I want my hair products. No, come back. You know, so I went back. Well, I'm needing in. I need my hair products. Eventually, bathroom door opened a wee bit, and she handed me out the wet face cloth. That was us sorted. And it's good to see so many people in kilts. You know, it's good to see John in a kilt. I looked at him in his kilt and I thought, the last time I saw legs like that, they were hanging out the gamekeeper's pocket. Or maybe they had a message tied to them, I'm not sure. I was put off wearing a kilt because I remember at a wedding, kids were crawling about the floor and they're crawling round under the table and so on. You're sitting there and you're relaxed, you've had a few drinks and you've got a kilt on, you're maybe not sitting best posture, and the wee laddie shouts to his mum, "Mum, Mum, that man's got a tiny wee set of bagpipes under his kilt." But anyway, it's enough from here. We're just about to hear from the groom. That's you, John, groom. And John said he hopes that marriage won't interfere with romance. Well, following Groucho Marx's observations, we told him that any romance he finds, his wife's bound to interfere. But before that, can you be upstanding for the toast? To the bride and groom.
Bride and groom.